Hey there, how are you all doing? Well, it's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon out here in Bangalore, and I thought why not change the environment a bit. If you have watched all my videos, then you do know that in one of my videos, I stress upon how even NLP talks about environment being a important layer or important influencer in how things pan out for people. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you might want to check out my episode on logical levels of change, where I explain the concept using a Bangkok restaurant here. Okay, on that note, welcome to yet another episode of Slate with Anita. The last episode, I would have discussed something called hypnotic language, which was a video title, Hypnotize Your Mind. And I had said that in addition to presupposition, embedded commands or embedded questions and ambiguity, there are two tiny bits called distortion and mind reading, which I'll discuss in the next episode. So today is going to be about those two concepts. Forget about the concepts. Let me tell you something before that. So there's an instance that Sue narrates in her book, NLP at Work 3rd edition. By the way, 4th edition is out. In case you have not picked it up, I strongly recommend you not only go ahead and pick it up, but please do read it, even if it is one page a week. You will not regret it, I promise you that. So talking about distortion. So in the chapter on hypnotic language, what Sue does is, there's this incident that she narrates where she and another colleague of hers discusses this common presenter whom they both admire. There's a small catch to the story. Now, while both of them like certain things about the presenter, there is one thing that Sue probably does not agree with, which is which is smoking. So basically, Sue is not a big fan of smoking, is what I understood when I read this piece in her book. Now, here's what happens. Now, when that colleague also shares her admiration for the same presenter, she actually makes a line. She says that, yes, this presenter is very good and very caring, even during a casual interaction like a smoking break. Now, you know what could have happened? So Sue has one part where she is like pro the presenter, she's like for the presenter, and there is this other part where she discovers something about the presenter which she is not totally comfortable with. This is distortion. What happens is when you use this kind of an information in a manner where it is not ecological to you, you can go through an inner conflict, and that's exactly what Sue goes through. So what do you and I have to do as people who are a little more aware about hypnotic language? Obviously try and ensure that we use linkages or we use distortions when it serves people well. We will talk a lot about this in our chapter on anchoring, when we talk about how you can link things in a manner that it serves and is ecological to the person that you are interacting with. Sue goes on to give some examples of that, and I would like to read it so that I'm quoting it correctly. Like one statement she says is, you're reading this sentence and you're wondering what other forms of hypnotic language are there. Another thing that she says is, you're taking in this information and you're exploring how you can practice these patterns in a way that enhance what you do. These are some ways where you can just use the word and you can combine two different messages so that you take the information in a more holistic manner. So that was distortion for you. Now, apart from distortion, while you're trying to build linkage, there are ways you can build a positive linkage or a stronger linkage, and that's what I'm going to give you an example of. To share another two lines, sitting here listening will make anyone realize, or sitting here listening will make you aware as to how much there is to this subject. Likewise, if I have to represent her quotation, watching this presentation requires that you relax and concentrate fully on what I am saying. The third line that she says is, the way you're breathing causes you to begin to relax completely. Distortion. So while the word by English might mean that you have to jumble up facts, it's not really about jumbling up in the context of hypnotic language. Rather, it's about how you can link two different concepts and let the customer take in more information from your end. And if you do it in an ecological manner, it's going to take you both closer to the outcome that you need. If that was distortion, then the last piece under hypnotic language is mind reading. We all feel like we can read other people's minds on occasion, especially when it is relationships which are close to us, we do believe we can read minds to a good extent. Take the example of a few statements that I'm going to talk about right now, and they would be considered examples of mind reading. Example, you're probably asking yourself, what can you do about this? I expect you will have an answer. I know what you will say if I tell you this. Or, your next step is so predictable. Or, you might be thinking, where are we going with this? Whenever we use statements like these, it is called as mind reading. Now, mind reading is fine, provided you mind how you go about doing it. Sue talks about an example in her piece on mind reading in the chapter Hypnotic Language, where she says that there was this person who was there with her on a car ride, and without interruption kind of constantly spoke to her about how she can approach the business. So she felt probably that she is reading Sue's mind, or she is giving Sue whatever she wants, but Sue didn't quite look at it that way. So you understand how mind reading can go either ways. Choose when you want to do it, choose it wisely. So that kind of summarizes what we have discussed upon hypnotic language. So just to give you a very quick recap, there are 5 components on hypnotic language. We had ambiguity, because hypnotic language is artfully vague, artfully ambiguous. Then you had embedded questions or embedded statements. Be careful, or you might want to talk to people in a very encouraging way, and avoid using the word don't, or use word anything other than don't. And then we of course had presuppositions, which is a very powerful tool by itself. And then today we spoke about distortion, and we spoke about mind reading. Now, while I was actually doing both these videos, I was really wondering, what's the best example I can give you people of an awesome hypnotic language? Now, while many speakers across the world, if they have mesmerized you, chances are they have used hypnotic language the way it needs to be used. One your and I relatable kind of example that I could think of was, have you ever experienced cool down after a fitness session? Or have you attended a guided meditation therapy? Or have you attended a meditation session where someone is guiding you through the whole process? Next time you do it, observe keenly how do they say. Like they will say something like, you may want to relax right now, or take a deep breath. There could be a lot of thoughts that are flowing through your mind, and that's okay. What you might want to do is slowly begin to bring the thoughts to one central point, so on and so forth. Hypnotic, right? When used well, it's a very, very powerful technique in communication. No wonder it forms a big part of the L in NLP, that is linguistic. So, I hope this video was useful to you. In the video write-up, do look for certain messages that I might give on how you can use hypnotic language in day-to-day life. Right now, I've also started blogging about the videos that I put out there. So you might want to check my website, www.themindstream.in. All my videos are going to be available as blogs here on. So happy reading or happy watching, all yours. Thank you so much for watching Slate with Anita.